takes probably like 30 seconds or so before it shows you live,
Well, no problem.
but you're definitely probably live.
Oh
Check
yeah.
this.
Well, I'll do the quick introduction then. We are here with James Canty and James Canty the third, I believe. Yes, sir.
That's right.
James Canty the third. Um, uh, Man, what doesn't he do? He's obviously a professional chess player, national master, entrepreneur. One of my favorite things that I do want to talk to you more about that. Gosh, just all around the board. I mean, I've been seeing you, gosh, for. I mean, actually, we had a game together like at one of the chess tournaments. You squashed me. But yeah, it's really fun to be able to talk to you today. Oh man, and I must say,
Found it.
you do have this aura around you. Because when we played, I was like, "Who is this guy?" I think we played at the World Open.
No, this was
Oh, did you look
North
up?
American.
Okay, so you did look it up. Are
Yeah,
you?
I remember. Actually, no, I just remember you.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah, it was North American Open.
Well, now I feel very
This is
honored. You
2015.
were wearing a suit. Was it a purple suit?
Nah, it was like
It was nice and velvet.
brown. Yeah, it was velvet though. It was brown. Yeah, I think it was brown with my glasses. I was styling because I was in Vegas,
Dude,
so
you look
I was
so
feeling
good.
good.
And I was
Yeah,
just
I
like,
was
who is
styling.
this guy? And I
I
was so
remember that.
intimidated. And you come up there, you look so professional. I was like, oh my god, this guy's wearing a suit. And you came in and you played so fast in the opening, and we played a dragon, accelerated dragon, I believe, right?
Accelerated. That's what I used to play. I was accelerated for life for at that time.
Uh
But I
huh.
was playing accelerated. Yeah, and it was good. It was a crazy the game was crazy. It was nuts. And actually I think you had some chances. I mean, you definitely did. And
Um,
it was a better route, but you kind of blundered. You just blundered. It was a crazy game. It
I
was
got
nuts.
I got low
It
on
was a crazy
time
game.
because I guess I don't know. You're wearing your glasses, and I was like, this guy's seeing everything, and I was so intimidated, which I would hate to say, ever during a game or even say it now, but still, I was just so
Right.
intimidated. I don't know why. Yeah, you just look like you knew what you were doing. I was like, oh god. And then later on, I
Yeah.
find out you're just like very because people were talking about you during the tournament also, and I think you're one of the highest rated in the tournament also, right?
Right. I was the like third seat or fourth seat, which I finished the same. I finished tied for second actually. I finished tied for second because I lost to that Scandinavian, and I had one draw with English. So I was like, okay, cool. And that was going to be my last time playing under 23 anyway. I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to play, see if I can win some money, which I did. So then I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm just going to play open sections from now on. But it was fun. It was a fun tournament. It was nice. That game was nice with us. That accelerated. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, so do you still have that game?
I do have it somewhere.
I
I
will
have to think
ask
about where.
for
I know
it.
I have it on a YouTube channel. I have
Oh,
it on mine. It's on my YouTube channel under the Accelerated Dragon.
oh,
I just don't
awesome.
know what video it
Well,
is.
I'll
I just
find
can't
it then.
remember.
I didn't know I was
Yeah.
famous. This is good. This is good.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. It's in my because I think I analyzed that tournament.
Uh
I
huh.
think I did. Or most of them, but I know that game is on a YouTube video. I just don't remember which one. I have over 200 now. So it's an Accelerated Dragon in my playlist on there. So one of those, you'll be able to find the game, bro. It's in there.
I'll look for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's your YouTube, by the way, has just been blowing up. I mean everything's been blowing up, right? Yeah, I think
Everything's been blowing up.
I
Literally everything.
I saw like you can correct me, but I want to say like almost a few months ago, your YouTube was maybe at like maybe 1 to 2,000 subscribers, was it?
Maybe no, it wasn't. It wasn't at 1 to 2. I hit 1,000. I've been a partner for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Should actually let me check the email real quick.
Oh, sure.
YouTube partner.
I just know that
YouTube partner.
most recently, I know I looked back and I was like, okay, he has some subscribers, and then recently I was like 7,000 now, and it's only growing, and the more videos every day. I know you just started this new tactics series, which I love. Anytime there's like numbers next to it, and I want to watch all of them.
Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be 100 of those. So it's 8 months. It's been 8 months of being a YouTube partner. You need to have 1,000 subscribers. So 8 months ago, I was at 1K, just over, probably like 1,600 subscribers. But in actually my growth wise, which I kind of looked around to see, I'm growing extremely fast, and I'm trying to grow faster. I'm trying to be like shout out to Levy and shout out to Hikaru, those big boy numbers there. But I was they got like almost 1 million subscribers, both of them. So combined, they basically almost 2 billion subscribers, both of them. That's nuts. So, but I just touched 70. What it's on here? It updates so fast. My growth right now, I'm up this month, but every month is 550 or plus subscribers every month. I was like, yo, I didn't know if that was like, I knew it sounded good, but I was like, yo, what are other channels doing? Because I
Uh-huh.
don't really know what the scale is. And the scale was like, yo, I'm like, I am doing excellent when it comes to like growth wise. So I was like, oh, this is sweet. So how many subscribers I got? 7461. I remember earlier today it was at like 7430. Earlier today, and it updates higher. I don't know, every 5 minutes, every whatever. But I keep refreshing, and it says 7461. I bet by the time we finish this, it will be a little bit higher, maybe 7465, 7470, stuff like that. And it's just growing exponentially every single day. So YouTube is popping, Twitch is popping, getting more opportunities, more collaborations. The esports team signing, bro. It's like,
The
chess is
esports
booming for
signing,
me.
that's what I was excited about too. And that's another thing. I was like, man, so just doing the Twitch, just doing the streaming and everything, you actually are getting signed and now paid to play. I mean,
Right.
how is that not? I mean, any chess player's like goal or dream in life.
And first, a shout out to Hikaru who paved the way. I always say that in every interview when they talk about the esports teams, because I would never be even looked at if Hikaru didn't get signed, and then Andrew Tang, and then the Botez sisters.
I
So
heard
people,
about
so
Tang.
sports teams, yeah, Andrew Tang signed to C9, so Cloud9. So any team that's looking for chess players, they first was like, yo, oh, that's what they got. They looked around, they found me, and I was like, yeah, I'm down, like definitely in it. Absolutely, man. More money, more opportunities, and it's being part of an organization that helps. I was on the front page of Twitch for my own channel because of the being on the esports team. We got slots available to us, so I was like, bet I'm on the front page of Twitch. It was fire. It was like amazing, but it's still growing. And like at one point they had Ninja, who's everybody knows Ninja, the
Yes.
streamer, but
Mm-hmm.
he's Noble. He was signed with Noble until, of course, he just grew, and then got bigger signing stuff, which is just business, which everybody understands that it's just business at that point. But he blew up, and I was like, wow, no, but that's something for me to grow through too as well. I would love to be Noble for life, but I'm with the program. I'm with whatever's going on, how big I can get, things like that. So it's great, man. I like being part of a family. They give me so many things. Like it's nice being part of it. Got my nice little, my gear. I got some new Logitech gear in front of me too, courtesy of being on the team. So it's fire, bro. It's fire.
And
Everything I do.
I think I heard you say you have a manager now. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, I do. I have
I
a
love
manager,
that
bro. I
so much. You
do.
don't understand how much I love that. A
I
chess
do.
player
Yeah,
with their
bro.
manager.
He helps me. He helps me. He's actually a student too. That's how we connected. And
Okay.
then now he just helps me with a lot of stuff. Like got me with the entertainment lawyer, just for stuff. So copyright stuff. We talk about things like that, branding, things like that. So he helps me a lot on that. And so and even so a little bit of a mindset too as well. Just like sometimes I'm like, man, look, I'm tired, bro. I'm about to go to sleep. Like I don't feel like streaming. And like, bro, just stream for an hour. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
You need
So I'll
that.
just you need that exactly. So
Oh my
and shout out
gosh.
to him too. Shout out to Andrew.
You
So yeah, yeah. So I'll do that.
you bring the energy every time that I get on stream. And for chess, I think that's not easy for a lot of
Yeah.
people to do that. Um, and like you're saying, and that was actually one of my questions I was going to get to was, how do you have all this energy? Because and how do you have all this energy to make all these videos and always make it fun to be doing it? But again, like how many times a week are you trying to stream, and do you have a schedule? Because I see man, sometimes you be streaming pretty late. I thought for most people, but
Most people, yeah, I do. I stream. At one point they called me the late night king. I remember that. I don't like
oh,
streaming
that's
in the
awesome.
daytime.
Okay.
Yeah, this was when I've been streaming 3 years now. So in the first year, I
hmm
would be on every single night from like 9 p.m. to whatever, and every night. And then I did like 3 24-hour streams. I'll never do another one of
24-hour
those. I
streams.
will never in my life do those again. But I was like, man, what was I doing? But that's why I'm here today. But like, cease. You don't have to do 24-hour streams for streamers out there. It is not a necessity, but I was just trying to be bigger and did it. And man, oh my goodness, the worst ever. I'll never do it again. But Yeah, I did 24-hour streams and things like that. And the energy comes from just you got to have a mindset, motivation. I was also in sales too. I was in sales a long time, so I learned a lot about sales. Learned a lot about. I studied a lot of successful people outside of chess, and learned a lot about just kind of methods, stuff that they do, and etc. And that helped me a lot. Especially my last sales job that I had. He was my mentor was a millionaire, but he did it through sales, and I knew him. I knew his family. It was cool. Like I was really close with them, and I learned a lot. I learned about these 8 great work habits that I actually use still to this day. But in sales, being good at it, you had to be. It was developed. I was already very social already, but it just kind of if you wanted to be good, you had to talk and you had to be cool with the
Mm-hmm.
person. And I developed more. It was very fun. It was more conversation like, and I'm already a fun person, so it just kind of grew. And I didn't know that little experience I had with sales there was actually door-to-door sales, to be exact. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done. But they also said that if you leave this, like you're either gonna go through this program and you'll be like you'll be able to have your own kind of thing. Like you're able to branch out and make tons of money. To be honest, a lot of money in it, a lot of money, believe it or not. But even Mark Cuban, recommends that's crazy how door-to-door sales is like so powerful, but at the same time it's so like grueling. Like nobody wants to do that. You have to learn what you're doing. But he said, I remember one thing he said is if you get through here, you're going to be good. Like you get your own blah, 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 and this and that. But if you ever leave this place, you're going to be successful in whatever you do. And I was like, I never forgot that. And as soon as, I left, because I was like, I saw friends making money through chess. And I was like, yo, man, why am I doing this? Like, I always come back to chess. Everything I've always tried to do something extra or something different or work jobs or grow on this or even business aspects that I still I know, but I don't do anymore because my focus is chess. So it was I learned a lot, bro. I learned a lot through it, and when I went through the sales thing, it helped me a lot. So as soon as I started streaming, I was already like this 3 years ago. I just got better. It just got better over time, more social, and now it's just more of me just being me, and which is already I was already like that, but it's comfortable. I'm very comfortable. I'm very cool, and like now I was never doing the rhyming thing until now. Now I make rhymes in my chess raps. That's the new
I do
wave. Because I
love
was
the
like, I've
rhymes,
never
man.
done this,
I
bro.
love it.
Yeah, H5 and we live, right? Stuff like that. So I've never
H5
done that stuff. I've never done that 3 years ago. So like you just get better. You get better. So it's good, bro. I learned a lot from the sales aspect and just being a positive person, keeping positive intentions and actions and energy. And it combined it with being hype about life and then put it on chess. And then that's what I got. That's what we got there, bro. So it's working, man.
You got that
It's been working for
magnetism,
me.
and I think a lot of people want that, especially for chess, because man, there's so much self defecation when it comes to chess players and their chess game. I like seeing you and you're working. I mean, the fact that you're saying that you're working hard, you have this goal that you're trying to get to. I mean, it's like I guess if when you get to your grandmaster title, I'll say when because I'm gonna bring that positive energy
Speak
with you.
into existence
You're gonna
always.
you're gonna get that grandmaster title. I feel like a lot of people are gonna be celebrating that goal with you. You're not gonna be like,
That's
oh,
right.
I hit
That's
it,
right.
but it's gonna be like a whole like
We hit
everybody
it.
exactly. It's,
That's
it's the
right.
we hit it exactly. I mean
It's gonna be
that's
huge. It's
I,
gonna be huge.
I'm excited about it, and I love the others the other podcast you did. I think it was called Perpetual. Is it called Perpetual Chess?
I didn't do perpetual. I would love to do perpetual. So shout out to perpetual if you're watching. Shout out
Oh,
to you,
I'm sorry.
perpetual. I would love to do perpetual, but I did
Who was it then?
64 squares.
64 squares. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
I've done
about that.
64 squares. No, he's cool too. 64 got some nice ones over there. His brand new podcast he's starting too, and that was on that one. I was also on Detroit Chess Killers. I was on another podcast as well. I forgot, but I was on a few podcasts. But this is cool, man. I love doing them, like talking about chess. And now, if I can help somebody, that helped me. That's good. That's all that it's about for me. I want to help thousands, millions, right?
Whenever you were on there, the 64 squares, you mentioned like I'm not just gonna hit Grandmaster and then I'm done. I'm gonna hit Grandmaster and then that's the next thing. I want to hit 2700 or 2600.
Right,
I'm just gonna keep
right.
going forward, all for momentum. And
That's
I
right.
just really love that because, man, the older I get, the lazier I feel, man.
Yeah, exactly. I got two kids too, bro. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So having kids too, and like it's literally they like, man, how do you do it? And blah blah blah. And like first things first, I don't listen to opinions of other people. They say dogma, which was of living or living out or trying to living on the opinions of other people. So they don't pay your bills and stuff like that. So and they don't they don't have your goals. Their goals are different from yours, and their opinions are based off of what they experienced and not what you actually have, or it doesn't dictate anything in your life. So I never listen to the opinions of other people. So I'm always I'm always on a positive tip, and like, I'm going to do this goal wise, I'm going to get this done, and I don't listen to that. So my goals is everything, bro. When I put the goals in front of you, you can always hit them. So 2600 FIDE, absolutely. 2700 FIDE, that's what the goals of mine, being one of the first Black African Americans to ever do that. So and even if it's not me to be first, of course I always speak into existence, I want it to be, of course, and it will be. But let's say somebody else does it, like, cool, I'm going to be on the list, right? Because there's going to be a list of like, who African American hit 2700 FIDE, who even there's never been an African American make it to candidates. So
Wow.
that would be a huge thing for me. If not me, maybe somebody else. Tani just hit master, he's 10. So Tani has a huge chance, if he
Yes.
sticks with it. He has to stick with it, and just everybody keep pushing him and stuff like that, so that he can continue to go for it. Because the younger, the better. You have to have go like that. Like I said, I got the two kids. I got to work for chess.com. I do YouTube videos. Everything's chess, but it's still work. So you
Hmm.
have to find the time and the balance there,
I mean, that's not
and
including
it
just
can
the
be
personal
overwhelming.
study that you even have to do, and
And
we're
I
not
do
talking
six to
easy
eight
stuff.
hours a day. Right? It's not, bro. It's not easy stuff. I do 6 to 8 hours a day. I stick to a schedule. I usually study early in the mornings, and then I have lessons from between 3 and 10. But in the mornings as well, after I study, I also work out in the mornings, take care of my sons, and I have to do videos, usually my own, and then videos for YouTube, for chess.com's videos, or videos for students. And then I do lessons from like anywhere between 3 and 10. It's just kind of mixed it sporadic wherever they are. I find time in there to study, chill with my sons a little bit more, and then I'll stream at nighttime. So usually nighttime is like, okay, cool, I'm done with the stream. Then before I'm done, before I go to bed, usually near Disky's on, or Chess Bar or somebody. So I'll stay on, or not stay on. I'll stream, I'll raid them, and then I'll study another 2 hours. So I've gotten 4 in the morning, maybe 2 or 3 throughout the day, or 1 or 2 throughout the day, and then 1 or 2 before bed, which comes out to be 6 to 7, sometimes 8 hours in a day, depending on what my schedule was like. So, and I was able to stream, get YouTube work done. So I'm hitting it every day. But it's mindset and it's work. But at the same time, bro, is paying off.
Yeah,
It is
no, I
paying off.
mean, like I said, you've been making all these great strides. Everything is just going up. I saw that you have 1 million views now
Oh yeah,
for it, so I
yeah,
thought that was pretty
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I actually didn't even realize it. I looked up and I was like, yo, that says 900,000. Like, I'm almost at 1 million views for the channel. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't even pay attention to that. But 3 years ago, I remember we had 10 views, or was it followers? Maybe it was 10 followers and 200 views total on the channel 3 years ago. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to try it. I've seen people streaming, saw some friends of mine streaming. So I'm like, all right, I'll try it out. And looking back at old streams, I was like, bro, this was garbage, right? But you have to get out there, and anyone advice, like, it doesn't have to be the most professional right now. It doesn't have to be the greatest technology. It doesn't have to be the greatest camera quality. You just need to get on there and stream, and then eventually, as you grow, your equipment will grow. Like, I got 2 cameras now. I got
Oh
all
wow.
this stuff. I have 2 screens and I got the setup. Now I'm about to have a bigger table coming in next soon, and having some other aspects, some core cables, and all this stuff that comes with it, because this is what I do now, and I've learned and grew. Just like in chess, same way. Yeah, you're not doing the same stuff you was doing at 1600 when you reach 2000. So that's how it is. Same way in stream world.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I want to jump back a little bit. Going back to the entrepreneur in you. Um, I don't know if you know, but the way that I've been mostly making my money is I do after school programs with kids, and we're like in 30 schools now, and that's what we do here.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I do
fine.
here in San Antonio. But at some point, and you know this as an entrepreneur, you have to take that leap of faith, or you have to say, I'm going to do this full time. So with me, I know whenever I did it, I was working a job, and I was like, you know what? I'm making this much money with my chess. I want to do it full time. I told my mom. My mom told me no, that's dumb. don't do it. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, mom. I was like, I gotta
Right.
do this. I gotta do this leap of faith. And I went in, and it was very tough at first, but at some point, it's like that. What is it? Survival instinct just kicks in, and then
Yeah.
you start doing it, right? You just start flowing. Can you tell me how that experience was for you? Because I would think it's even tougher for someone because you did this whenever you had two kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I had two. Well, I had one at the time.
That
3 years
sounds
ago. Yeah,
even
yeah.
more
I had one at
intimidating
the
to me.
time. It was, but I had some stuff saved up already because I did just quit. I just left my job. I was like, bro, I'm tired of this. So I hit
What
up
were you
some
doing
chess people
before?
that I knew. I was doing the sales. I was doing the
Okay.
sales door to door, but it was very good. It was very, I was learning things and the quality of like the A grade work habits of things that I learned that you can just take anywhere and use them and apply them. It worked a lot. So I was still, working hard. I was still on time for stuff. I was still working your territory correctly, meaning working a full day, meaning doing everything you need to do, working all day and getting it done. Because if you're not, making money that day, especially after, even if you have some stuff saved, like you're losing money. So I had to figure out, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, what is, so I looked at every chess avenue that I had. I started doing more lessons. I reached out to some chess coaches, got some other lessons, got some privates. Then I started streaming, and then the privates started to pick up more. So I was doing more privates per week, and I was still selling stuff online. I was really good with that. Shopify, Facebook. I was finding ways. I was literally hustling, and it worked. It was hustling, and then Twitch money as well. Everything was like I was multiple sources, multiple sources. Then I start cutting down sources because money was picking up, which it still is like everywhere. Chess just starts to expand, and then I can cut off this thing and only do, I can substitute it. So all of my income now is through chess or a little bit of trading, but mostly chess because of the avenues that I've created. So yeah, but that leap of faith, you have to do it. You literally just have to do it. But when you do it, you have to treat it like even streaming and being a content creator and being, chess professional. You have to treat it like a job. In fact, I remember some very successful people actually say that you have to treat like whatever that is that you want to do, that business, you have to treat it like a job. Because if you, oh, I own a business, but just you work on it 2 hours a day, like that's not real. That's not realistic on being super successful. It's better than working on no hours a day. But if you have more than 2 hours a day to work on it, then you need to do it. Like it's treat it like a job. So I treat streaming, YouTube videos, study, all of that like a job, because they say if you treat it like a job, it's going to pay you like a job, right? So and it's pay you better because it's your business in this aspect. But it's that's the mindset going into that.
You mentioned earlier that you do have you like to study successful people. Do you have any in particular that you'd like to share with us and what they
Yeah,
say to
actually,
you?
outside of chess, I've learned a lot. Actually, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Oh
I
wow,
remember this
interesting.
one thing I learned from both of them. They put them both in separate rooms and asked them the same question. And it was like, yo, what will be the main thing, or if you had a tip, like what's the most important thing that you would have about, being successful? And both of them, not even knowing what the other one said focus. And that was very, very important when I
Wow.
heard them both say that. So I was like, focus. Okay. So applying that to chess, I need to focus on certain areas. I need to focus more on this, focus more on weaknesses, focus more on openings in game. Just focus, just literally focus and clear out everything else. So cool. Focus was a huge thing I learned there. Tony Robbins. I've listened to Les Brown and what was another one?
Les
Eric Thomas for
Brown.
motivation.
I like him.
Oh yeah, Les Brown's good, and then you got Tony Robbins and what's the other one? It's a lot of them. I listened to a lot. I used to listen to a lot of those. I've been read Think and Grow Rich, so I was very big on that, and I just applied a lot of it to chess. Chess wise, it would be of course Tal, Kasparov, Magnus. Those are like my favorite players. Bobby Fischer. Those would be like iconic, like people that are definitely influential on my chess. The most would be those because I got Tal's book. Kasparov, I knew about him. In fact, he was like my favorite player before everybody else. It was Kasparov, and then Bobby and Kasparov. It might have been Bobby and Kasparov at the same time. It was. Then it was Magnus, and then more later on, as I realized I was more of a tactical player. I love sharp positions.
Hmm.
And then it was Tal. So I was like, okay, cool. So now but I've learned something from all of them. Tal, I know, sacrifice all day, don't care about nothing really, and just like go for it. And I like that kind of chess. Magnus is the hybrid universal, all world champions combined in a way.
Hmm.
Kasparov more psychological but aggressive. Like he's always saying, I learned things like what is it? Material. No, activity trumps material most times. So if your pieces are active, you could be down a piece, and things like that. So I've learned a lot from a lot of them. But yeah, man, yeah, I learned. I take it and implement it.
Yeah, no, no, I love it. I love that you're studying other things other than chess, though. I feel like a lot of chess players can be very one-track minded and just look at
Yeah,
chess only. And you very much are seem like a very holistic person from the sales, the studying, and even the way that you approach it. I mean, and that's a big thing in my life, which obviously it seems to be in your life, is the discipline that you have to have. Which so you work out. I've seen you. You're like you've got muscles and they're big. So
yeah.
that was another thing. I was like when I was on the board, I was like, oh my god, is he gonna beat me up or what's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's very intimidating. They're like, "Man, you lifting weights to go play chess?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro. I'm a chess player." And I'd be like, I lift weights. I lift heavy. I like to do pull-ups. Well, because I don't go to the
how
gym
many
anymore.
pull-ups?
I try to do 100 every 2 days. So
What?
every 100 in a day, every 2 days.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So
god.
push-ups, same push-ups, 100 push-ups every other day because you need time to rest. And then
Mm-hmm.
in between, you'll do legs or something else, or just take a rest day, an extra one. Because that 100 is a lot. It's a lot. You don't do it all at once, of course, but you do split it up between within an hour. Or 30 minutes. I'm trying to do 100 push-ups or 100 pull-ups, and it works. It goes with eating right as well. You got to eat right. I was big like before I did my sales job that I did before chess. I was doing another sales job at LA Fitness. I was actually one of the they call it a PTD, personal training director. So it was I was not a personal trainer by like on paper, but I knew everything. I'm not everything, but I knew a lot. I knew a whole lot. In fact, at one point I was about to compete bodybuilding wise, but I was lifting heavy
Wow.
every single day. Diet was super strict, eating raw vegetables, right? So I don't do that anymore. But I will. I like to. I'm more into just like staying fit and doing lots of pull-ups, push-ups, compound exercises like squats, deadlifts, pull-ups. Those are always awesome to do, and just staying in the best shape because Bobby said mind and body got to be correct for you to
Mm-hmm.
be in tip-top shape, especially for chest.
And I love that you take that aspect to it. Especially, it sounds like you take the scientific approach, which is, sometimes I meet people are like, I just lift heavy things, and there's no schedule to it. I really like that you have a schedule to it, and you're actually making these gains. I mean, it's pretty obvious whenever you look at someone, and they're like in really good shape because they have to be on a specific diet plan or just again on that schedule. And I think it's also very important for someone in your lifestyle because you need that energy. I mean, you're not going
Yeah,
to be lazy by working like 12-hour days or 10-hour days like you're doing right now,
that's
which
right.
I mean, and you have to take how long would you say your workouts are going for? I mean, it sounds like
Usually
an
you
hour and
want
a
to do
half.
no, no. Usually those are I hate doing those because working out is not even fun. Even sometimes chest study is not even fun. It's not fun sometimes, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You still have to do it, but it's not. It doesn't have to be fun for you to do it, but it's the consistency factor of just doing it. But mine do like 45 minutes and be out, or as soon as I. That's why I like to do. I found a lot of some YouTubers, and I'm like, oh, this is fire. Like instead of waiting and just doing like certain exercises, which you can do. What if you do very high rep exercises on compound exercises like squats, deadlifts, push-ups, and pull-ups, and certain grips, like certain grips, the wide grip, close grip, chin up grip, and like front hand grip. So doing all these variations of pull-ups actually work every part of your upper body besides the
Wow.
chest mostly. And then the chest, but I've learned this. I'm like, I can do. I never did like this is something I've never done. I've been working out a long time and never have done like the 100 push up or the 100 challenge, where it's just like whatever you're about to do that day, do 100 reps of that, or 100 reps in different variations of that body part. So bicep curls, for instance, you should do. I can do sets of five sets of 20. For your 5 sets of 20, so 20 reps 5 times, doing one set being regular biceps curls, another one being isolated, another one being hammer curls, another one being negatives, or I forgot what they call that one, like hold it like this and then like hold one and curl the other, then switch and hold the other. So doing bicep curls like that, but doing up to 100 will shock the muscles in a way that you'll see different results based off of that because you did the 100 challenge. So I've been doing that a lot. 100 challenge, pretty good.
I love how
It's a
you
good
mentioned
exit
that
thing.
the discipline, not only for just working out, but obviously for chess because I don't think most people see it. They just see Magnus or these great players just playing. It's like man, do you know how much work goes into this for them to make this look so flawless, especially these days with opening prep? I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing I've really loved to see that you're working on is that, your C3 Sicilian. And man, the how far you took it was just astonishing to me. I guess you stepped up my game because I'm over here. I was like, you kind of play it to move five, and then you just kind of, you have fun. But after looking at your lines and everything, I watched your videos and I was like, oh man, I could just win with not even thinking. I just have to
Right.
remember this line, and then I mean I've been getting some great games and I've gotten some very nice wins over 25, 2600s in this C3 Sicilian, and obviously I got you to thank for that.
Oh yeah, that's C3 Cecile for the kill. I started calling it that because it rhymes and it's funny, but also at the same time it's very deadly if it's used correctly. So I'm like one of the best Alapin experts I think in the world because I've played so many games. I've been using the Alapin for so long, so anything Alapin, I know it inside and out. I have my own studies on it. I have a course out on it that I published. I have all kind of stuff, videos, playlists, and the C3 Sicilian is going nowhere. I literally don't ever play anything else against it. I just try to learn different ways, and like nowadays, I'm having trouble more against because I really, the knight C3 line, for instance, E4, C5, C3. What do they play? Knight F6, E5, knight D5, knight F3, knight C6, D4, takes, D6, knight C3. I am not supposed to play knight C3. In fact, in my
Oh.
course, I let people know that I'm not supposed to go here because what they can do is trade on C3 first. Actually, sorry, trade on E5 first. D takes E5, then D takes E5. Then after knight takes C3, queen takes D8, knight takes D8, pawn takes C3. You have an isolated pawn on C3, two of them, A2 and C3 are ISOs. And
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a very weird structure. In fact, I'm actually the only way I can play it now over the board, if I ever do it, is I have to take the 3 games that I know this is how deep I get with my C3 Sicilian and all my openings. But
I love it.
C3 Sicilian, I know Chess Base has Bortnik. Bortnik, who's playing he's playing in Chicago Open. What did he do? Oh, he has 3 games in the database playing the exact same line with the knight C3, knowing I'm not supposed to, but he does it anyway. So I was like, if he got 3 games, one was against Jeffrey Zhang, where I think he beat him. I
Wow.
think he beat him. And I was like, yo, you beat Jeffrey Zhang with this line? So, and I was saying this as a joke, but at the same time, I was serious. If he's able to do this, I can do this as well. But I just have to study it more. And
Mm-hmm.
I have more experience there where even in my last tournament at Charlotte, one game I got a draw with the knight C3 line. In fact, I've only faced it 3 times over the board. I've only done it 3 times OTB. All people, and one was FM, the other was FM, basically 3 IM norms, just waiting to get his rating, and then one was a draw against Keaton Kiera, so international masters. So I
Yeah.
got 2 draws and a loss, and the loss was because literally I was just moving fast because I was mad about the last game. I'm not even gonna lie, I was just pissed that I'm like I lost that game, so it kind of trickled into my next game. I was just moving fast, not caring honestly, and I should have because I beat him before. I just was pissed, and the emotions got to me, and I ended up losing that game in the end game very stupidly. So I have 2 draws and an AO. I don't have a win yet over the board with that knight C3 line, so I have to study that more. And in fact, I've been learning. I've been working with my GM coach, but also friends that are IMs and stuff like that. And one of them just told me the other day, which stuck with me. I was like, you know what, you're right. You have to, which I knew this, but it's always when you hear it from somebody, especially that's influential to you, or somebody you know that you were cool with, sometimes it really sticks. And he was like, yo, you got to lean into the things that you're weak at. And I was
Mm.
like, yo, that's fire. That's actually correct. They say if you fear something, you have to face the fear. And not that I fear anything, but it's the kind of same concept of lean into it. And I have to lean into that knight C3 line if I really want to make it work. Because D takes C5 is, it's not a refutation at all. Even Evgeny Svechnikov himself, the C3 Sicilian monster, the one that got the 580-page yellow book that I went through
I'm
7,000
trying to get
times.
that book still. I
It's
think
like,
I
no,
think you
you can't
sold
get
it
it.
out, man.
You
It's
can't get it,
like
bro.
I went to
No, you can't get it.
Amazon and I was
Yeah.
on
If
there.
I ever sell this book, I'm gonna sell it for $1,000 because it's like it's no. And actually, somewhere online it is $1,000 because it's out of paperback or it's out of print
Uh-huh.
or whatever. So it's like 1,000 somewhere. Somewhere else it was like $200. So I'm like, yo, this is a gem right here. I'm keeping this. But I went through this book, so I remember picking up $40 at a chess tournament. Like many years ago. So I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, oh, Alapin, I've seen this on YouTube videos. Let me pick up the book, and I picked it up, and the rest is history. I loved it. Literally loved it. But Evgeny Sveshnikov himself, that's why I started playing Knight C3. Not because like, oh, let me just play Knight C3. It was from in the Big Yellow Book with Evgeny Sveshnikov, which his games from the book are in a database as well. So I'm doing my research. But yeah, he's now there's newer ways to play it. I think you have to do some very extensive research if you play a Knight C3 line. Because if not, you're going to have to play the Bishop C4. You're going to have to really go Alapin in. And that's why I call it C3 Sicilian, C3 Sicile for the kill, because it's different than the Alapin. It is still the Alapin, but the regular Alapin strategy of like Bishop C4 and they go Knight B6, you're back to Bishop up. That's the stuff that they're used to and study. So stuff that they're not used to, they're not going to have as great of an experience with. They haven't seen it. And if you're more prepared, Ben Feingold even said this, like you can play a line that's like slightly better for your opponent. But because you have so much experience, maybe you got 20 years in that line or 5 years in this or 5 hours spending time with this entire position and like, doing nothing else but this position, you're going to be more likely to play and beat that person that was slightly better. And that's how chess is, period. But especially when you're more prepared. So I love my Knight C3 line, and I still do play it, especially online. But for me to play OTB, I'm going to, especially Chicago coming up. So it's just a matter of when, which I need to do. Let me actually put this in my notes right now. Like do the C3. Let me go to ChessBase and pull up the game so I can just remember to have this up, because I actually need to do this. I need to download the games from Bortnik, chop them up in the engine, and then put them into my database.
That's what they call focus right there, man. So that's the word of the day today, focus.
That's right,
so you're going to be playing into the Chicago Open, huh?
Yep, Chicago. Me and my dad, actually. My dad is about a 2,000 rated play. He's 2,000 strength, especially online. He's 2,000. He don't like to play rated no more. He got up to expert and like scared of his rate. And I'm like, Dad, you have to play, bro. Like, stop playing. He played rapid, and I'm talking about old man rapid, 45 minutes per side. Whoa. So, and I'm like, but he plays. Excuse me, he had this one friend named Norm, where back in the chess club days, I remember when he used to drop me off, I would be there at noon, and I would stay till like it closed at 8 or 9, playing chess with the old dogs all day. So that's how I got mastered so quickly in high school, because I got the reps in quickly, a lot of reps. But he would play this guy even then, this guy named Norm, and they would play every single Saturday for years. So when COVID hit and like stuff, hey, you can't play no more chess, but they still wanted to play. Norm is like a dinosaur when it comes to technology. He don't have a cell phone. He don't. And I'm like, bro, how do you not have a cell phone? And like, he's like, I don't need. I'm like, bro, you never mind. Like, this is nuts. But he got a landline, but he don't have a cell phone. So I'm like, that's nuts. And then my dad bought him, or actually gave him an old laptop that my dad had, because my dad was like, yo, hey, bro, I want to play you, my guy. Like, what's up? So they got a laptop, and then I helped set my dad and them up. And then push come to shove, bro, they got about 1,600 games. Believe it or not. You know how on Lichess you can see how many games they got? So when I'm watching the games, bro, that's the most I've ever seen between.
Is it competitive, or is somebody winning?
No, my dad's winning by a landslide. But the buddy Norm is like 1,700. Okay. Like 1,700. Honestly, I think his OTB is like 1,800. Mm-hmm. But my dad's OTB is 1,733. He playing in the under 19, and he's like in the halfway point if you look at the advanced entries. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, yo, Dad, you got a good shot at this. There's gonna be some more people in the section just like you. I always tell them that, like, yo, it's gonna be probably 4 or 5 that's pushing just as tight as you are. So you need to make sure you're playing these games well, but at the same time, you are one of the people that are underdog for real, because he's 1,733, but I mean, he can hit a 2,000. He's hitting 2,000s before, 2,100s online in rapid chess. So I'm like, okay, all right, it's showing, but he still has to prove. He ain't played in many, many years over the board. I mean, it was like 04 last tournament over the board for him. So
oh wow, that's quite a while.
Quite a while, bro. OTB. He's played OTB, but he hasn't played tournament OTB. So it's been a long time for him. So we'll see how he does, but I'm gonna be rooting for my man.
I'm curious. You have a very aggressive chess style. What is your dad like? Is he was he playing the
he positional, boring.
I knew boring. It. I had a
He's super boring, bro. Yeah, he old man. He old man chess, bro. He played London system, which I actually just picked up the Joe Bava London just to have as a fun thing to do and look at more ideas really
Mm-hmm.
is what it's about, and growing your repertoire and your knowledge on chess. So I was looking through that literally the last day. I looked at like about 200 lines of Joe Bob London. So
Wow.
now back to E4 again, but I did learn a lot. I actually, weirdly enough, I feel stronger after I looked at Joe Baba than I ever have. And now that I'm playing E4 again, I'm like, it feels like I'm stronger. But that's what Magnus says too. You have to play different openings to become stronger, and you get
Mm.
these ideas and stuff like that. But my dad's super positional, London system, not Joe Baba. So regular London. Then he play what does he make? What does this man play
Yeah, I was curious
against
what openings he was playing.
E4, E5? Well, against E4, he plays E5, and he'll play into the Roy Lopez, but he'll play the Steinitz with early D6,
Oh
Bishop D7,
no,
Castle,
that's very
boring.
solid.
Yeah, and then again, and then D4. In fact, he just picked up the Queen's Gambit accepted. So that's the only thing
What?
that, yeah, he actually just picked that up. But he did try. He before then he was Queen's Gambit declined, but he just started playing the Queen's Gambit accepted. So that's something new for him. And he like, yo, I'm teaching him the lines, and he going through stuff, and like, he uses Chessable too. So I'll be on there showing him stuff, and he'll be like, oh, I didn't see this line, or like, what are you doing? Why does this? Like, he asks me questions. He's trying to get good, so I'll be helping him out too. I
Man,
also give him lessons,
I'm
but
so
he get a
jealous,
discount.
man.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
dad does not play chess. Well, I think the last time I played my dad, I beat him blindfolded. We haven't played since, so he's just not wanting to play chess anymore. And that was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you, because you mentioned when you were younger that you started to learn how to play chess, but you did not make it to a was it to go play nationals one year or go play state one year?
Yeah, it was the first year in the chess club. It had to be first year because I was in fact it was two things. One was shout out to my boy Dalton Barksdale. One reason my dad wanted me to beat him because Dalton would just talk trash and beat me. And Dalton now is like a 1900 player. He's like 1900.
Ooh.
Now he's like 1900, but I mean, once I got good, like, he just couldn't beat me anymore. But he's about 1900 now because he kept playing and he started studying a little bit, and he still played the same openings we played as when we was kids. But he which is Stonewall stuff, like D4 kind of
Oh,
Stonewall. But
Stonewall.
I was E4 though. I was still E4, but he learned the D4 Stonewall thing from our first chess coach, chess club, Harold
And then he
Steen,
never
with
did
him,
anything
and he played
else.
French. And he plays French, which is like same. And also, I think he plays Queen's Gambit Decline against D4, like all the stuff that we kind of just grew up on. But I remember, yeah, it was that. It was a combination of him, Dalton, and me not being able to go to the nationals because the coach was like, "Yo, hey, we can only take like 5, 6 players for free because it's all paid for." And
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
yeah, it was paid for because if you won at that time, I don't think they do this anymore, but maybe they do. I don't know. But if you win the states or if you win the city or
Mm-hmm.
something, top 3 places go to nationals for free. It's just paid for. So
That's
it's
awesome.
flight, hotel, everything. I was like, oh, that's fire. So I couldn't make it to the first one. My dad didn't like that, so I went to what happened there? School lets out, and he gets me up in the morning, like 7 in the morning, even though I don't got school.
I
But
know.
we
I
just go
love that
downstairs and
part.
play chess, bro. And
I
I was
love
like, I
that
was
part.
mad. I was like, I don't feel like playing, bro. Summertime, like, don't want to play, dog. But I was playing anyway, and 7 to like noon, or like, we was just playing a lot of chess. I remember playing so much chess. Then I went back to school, and he had chess books too. And honestly, when I'm chilling at the crib, having nothing to do, no bills or anything, so like nothing to deal with, nothing at all, just no responsibility. I would just study chess books. I would just study the ones I had. I'm like, oh, let's check this Roy Lopez one. So I would sit at the board and then start studying some of the books. And then I went back to school and I was crushing everybody but the coach. Nobody could beat me anymore. And that was the start of it. And then, I started blowing up. I actually hit expert. This is why I always go by GM Canty too, because I hit expert in high school. I mean, I hit expert going into high school. I was an expert. So I was basically end of 8th grade, going into 9th grade. I hit expert, and then I graduated. I slowed down a little bit just because, honestly, school and girls, like, just that's exactly why I slowed down. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that at all.
I don't
But
think you have to. I think anybody
yeah,
here is gonna be like, yeah, it
literally.
makes sense. Like,
Makes sense, bro. I could definitely, 14, 15, 16, 17, I got into girls and everything else. So, but I was like, okay, you know what? And I was still playing chess. So I graduated being a master. So I graduated
I
2200.
didn't
And I've
get
been
that.
2200 I've been 2010. I've been a master for 11 years. It's time for an upgrade. So I
Mm.
always tell people, and people ask sometimes too, like, why do you go by GM Canty if you're a national master? Well, first things first, you got to put your goals in front of you. Secondly, you have to be and play and show and walk into the position and believe that you have the position before you actually have it. Now, it is work involved in that, but every GM that you see today was once in the same spot. And do
Mm-hmm.
you think that they said, "Oh, I'm not a GM"? They played and they studied like it, and then eventually they started playing like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have to show it over the board, and it's always a process like that. And that's where I believe and know that I'm at now, especially based off ratings, people I play. I've been able to prove it in certain times. Chicago and World Open 2019, I got 5.5 out of 9, both times back to back in the open section, right? So
Wow.
I was half a point away from a norm twice. So I'm like, yo, I'm so close. Like I'm literally so close. The closed tournaments I think are always the hardest because people have time to prep for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when they don't have time to prep and don't understand your style in these open tournaments, those where I really really thrive at because I'm a wild card in a way. Even having I'm lower rated. Like my FIDE rating 2210. To me, bro, that's garbage. That's very low. Like I'm like, bro, 2210 is nothing. Like that is very low. I was 2200 when I was 17. So now 2308 is my USCF, again very low. I believe I should be 2450,
Mm.
2500 USCF minimum. So that's where my strength is, but I also back it up through my work. So I work 6 to 8 hours a day. I train, I do everything I need to do. I'm working with a coach. It's just a matter of time before all of these things actually work over the board, which I got a big shot here in Chicago. I got some heavy hitters there I can take out, changed up the repertoire some, and
I'm excited to see the
going for it,
videos
bro.
already. I was
Yeah.
I think I haven't finished your whole Charlotte one, but I got up to I think game 4.
Okay.
So it's been fun watching them and seeing your analysis with it. Even I liked how you started off the stream. You were just doing some what was it? Some tactics, and you were hitting like God like 40, 42, and I was like, my gosh, that's really impressive. I feel like it's even gotten harder to do the tactics on there for chess.com.
It has. It's gotten harder. It has gotten harder too. And there was an article out that they dropped in 2018 when they made Puzzle Rush, and at the time, 55 was the highest, like 55
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes. Like, yo, Hikaru, that's that. They was basically saying, "Hi, Hikaru," like you're the only one, basically. But if they saying if you anywhere between 40 to 49, they say you're a grandmaster, you should be soon.
Oh
And
wow.
that's what it said. But nowadays, like even I know some they said 30 to 39 said you should be at least a master. But I know people that's not even 1800. They got a 30 puzzle rush. So I'm like, that's not correct in this day and time. Same thing with Grandmaster one too. Not all the same. I think 40, 45, you at least a strong master at 40,
Mm.
45, 49 and stuff like that. But there's GMs too. Like it literally ranges to like master and up when you 40 to 49, closer to very strong masters. Because I know some people that aren't as strong or even close to as rating wise, but they got a 40 puzzle rush. I know some people, some GMs that don't even have a 40 puzzle rush,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it just it's not just puzzle rush that determines it, which is cool. The higher the number, the better. The better. My goal is to actually get 50 consistently, 50 plus consistently in a 5 minute portion. So my tactics are very very strong. I love tactics, and my openings reflect it. So I have more tactics and chances to get those, but um, my tactics rating got up to 3,000 on chess.com. So I just kind of stopped. I was like, I don't, yeah, like, what else am I trying to do here? Like, I got to 3,000, bro. Like,
Oh,
let's work on other tactics now,
so
like
you're
themed
part of the
tactics.
3000 club then.
I am. I'm part of the 3K club. So I'm just kind of chilling. I'm going to just chill on that. I don't really have to ever do tactics on there again. I'd rather do Puzzle Rush and do other tactics so I can work on strengths there because those puzzles I've maxed it out in a way. I haven't. I mean, I've seen somebody had a 10K puzzle rating, something like that. It
What?
was something stupid. Yeah, but of course, but weirdly enough, their ratings was like 1900, which means this person literally only kind of focused on tactics, and
Mm-hmm.
years after years, he just did a few tactics every day. I'm sure he had a method to it because that takes a long time, to build that thing up like that. And just I remember
10K.
actually I beat what's the guy name? I can't remember his name right now, but I played him in World Open. Dang, I cannot remember his name, but I played him in World Open, and I played an Accelerated Dragon, and it was a very
Mm-hmm.
wild line, very wild line. I ended up winning the game. It was wild though, but he was a national master. But I remember I had Chicago Open and World Open give you your pairings like 10, 15 minutes if you ask for it before the round. So I'm like, oh, bet I got 15, 20 minutes. So I actually checked him up. I just go ahead and Googled him and figured out, oh, shoot, okay, he a master. Oh, he played this. And then I saw his chess.com profile and I saw it was over 3K tactics. And I was like, oh, he's
Whoa.
strong. So I'm like, ooh, right. But then I sat down and he guess what? He lost from a tactic. So I was like, wow, bro. So that really kind of like mindset wise, I'm like, bro, you can have a 3,000 rated tactic or tactics rating and still lose from tactics. So, it's a combination of everything. I'm like, how are you feeling? And the intuitive part to it. How familiar are you with this position? There's a lot to it. So tactics is not just the whole part. It will get you very far, and you can't get to master just from doing tactics. I did that. I studied a few openings and only tactics and got up to master. Then I started studying a lot of openings after master, and not even, this has been recent. In the last 2 years, I started actually really focusing on my repertoire. And then, well, no, actually, what's funny is in 20, yeah, that's actually not correct. I actually had a very nice repertoire in 2015 because I used chess openers for white and black, explained. So I've used everything
Oh, okay, I know that book. Yeah.
from both books, like Scotch Gambit, literally everything in those books I know in and out. But
Wow.
now, I've grown as a player to play better lines, sharper stuff, more that's form fitting for my style of play. So actually, I did study theory then. I just know more now, and I study it a better way that suits my style more, and I can study it faster because I've been doing it a long time.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely been showing. I know I'm scared to play in openings now.
I know a lot of opening theory now. It's nuts. But I'm like, it's always like, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try it. And it's like, bro, you have to just pick one. You have to not, and after a while, you have to, to pick one, you have to go through multiple.
Oh,
So
yes.
I had to go through a lot of openings. In fact, I'm a Nightorf player now, so I played Nightorf Sicilian. I'm doing a very, very hard study on the Dutch classical right now because it's very sharp, and there are GMs playing it. And I'm like, it's a fighting opening between that and Grunfeld because my coach has me playing Grunfeld.
You are
But
playing Grunfeld.
Grunfeld's
Oh.
sharp, very sharp. I like it, but I do love this classical Dutch. I get good positions, sharp, and I'm gonna see how it works. I'm gonna, in my training sessions, I'm gonna see how them stats really work,
Mm-hmm.
and then if it really works, then I'm gonna take that to the tournament. If not, I can pick up. I've been studying Grunfeld the last 2.5 months, 3 months, so in and out. So I could just, all right, cool. We're going back to Grunfeld, like it'd be nothing. But I am doing this Dutch thing and looking it up. People have played it, so I'm like, people playing this, it's playable. It's definitely playable. I mean, all of them have played it. It's just the fact that it has a bad rep and this and that. But
Magnus
what I
has used it pretty
realized,
well, right?
I'm about to say Magnus use it, but they use the classicals a little different. And also anything that's hit with the engine or engine tested, which of course that's why I like to use Chessable a lot. A lot of these courses be having courses where if you really do the work and you actually analyze, they also have an option where you can analyze with like, and when you reach a certain position, you get to the ending position in the chapter. Then I can be like, wait a second, what if I tried this after that? What if
Mm-hmm.
this happened? I can check it right there in Chessable, and it'll show me what happens or what happens. And I'm like, yo, that's pretty fire. So that's the reason why I'm gonna stick to the Dutch for right now because it's engine tested. There's also, I remember I was reading today, and it was like, yo, this position has been reached only in 4 games in the database.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, oh, that's fire. Like only 4 games, which means this is fresh material, which means this is a new territory for whoever I will be playing.
So this is gonna be
So
like the what is this, GM Canty, the Dutch line, or?
that's right. Yeah,
I
something
know I
like
want a
that.
name after me. I'll take it, man,
All
any
right,
day.
that's right. That's right. So the Dutch is not. Yeah, actually, I'm probably gonna be more known always for the C3 Sicilian. I just gotta keep perfecting it. That C3 Sicilian, bro, has been fire. In fact, I use it too. A reason why I love it so much. One of the first times I got a draw over the board. In fact, I think the first time I played it over the board, I beat a 2300.
Oh, wow.
First time ever, beat him over the board. Then and I was like, wow, man. I think he was like one of my first clear 2300 wins over the board. I was like, wow, man, that felt good. Then I beat this was like 2013 too, maybe 2014, something like that. But I beat him, and then I had a game against what's the guy named John Fedorowicz out of
Oh,
New York,
yes,
Grandmaster,
yes. Uh-huh.
and I had a winning position. I don't remember the game, but I remember some of it kind of, and it was still the early development of C3 Sicilian, and I played him, and I got a draw, and I was slightly better. And he was like, "Yo, I almost got mated." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I was trying to mate you, bro, but of course, you just got out of it." But I was like, "Wow, I got to draw with him," and I was like, that was like, "Yo, how can I not love this opening?" When like I
Mm-hmm.
just started playing this and I drew a GM, my first GM draw ever over the board was with the C3 Sicilian, so that has a special place in my heart. Then I drew an IM. I beat my one of the fastest win ever. Actually, no, the fastest win ever was now Charlotte. Beating the IM, but the one before that was like 23 moves, beating Martindale Campo, who played in this tournament too. But beat Martindale Campo with the C3 Sicilian and played my Gambit line. It took him when I played the Gambit line that I know inside and out. He spent 45 minutes on that move. I remember like, yo, he don't know this.
Is
Obviously,
this is
he
the
spent
D5
45
line,
minutes.
right?
Yeah, this is the one where they no, this is the one where it's against the accelerated actually. In fact,
Uh-huh.
when I it's a E4 C5 C3 G6
Uh-huh.
D4 takes on D4 takes on D4 then they go D5 so to
Yeah.
strike the center, but I actually go knight C3 there. The knight
Yeah, you
C3
give
there's
away
a
the
gambit.
pawn.
Oh yeah, you give the pawn up. Yep, D takes
I
E4
hate
and
that
then bishop
line.
C4.
I
Yeah,
play
bishop
against
G7
people
queen B3.
online and they murder me back to back.
Oh man, it's scary. It's scary. Queen B3 and
Yes.
then yeah, bro, it'd be a wrap. It'd be a
F7's
wrap.
attacked and then
F7's attack. You play
ah
D5. If they play E6, and then I'll be smashing people. I actually beat just recently. What's the guy name? Not recently, but he actually mentioned that recently. I was on his stream recently. I just was like in his chat. Mark Esserman. He mentioned that he was talking about the
oh, Mark
Mora.
Esserman.
Yeah, Mark
Yes.
Esserman was talking about the Mora, and he was like, "Yeah, you can try this knight C3 line." And then I just, I'm always lurking, so I was like, "Yeah, I play that line." And then he was like, "Oh, what's up, Canty?" He was like, "Yeah, Canty plays this Gambit line. He actually beat me with it." I was like, "Yeah, I did. I beat him. I actually beat him with that line. Same line that he was talking about." And I was like, "I play that line, but
I'm a
it's the
I'm a
Gambit
Smith
line."
Morra player, so and that's one of the things I've always liked about the line. Whenever I'm learning this C3 is obviously if well I don't know actually if you do know. Do you play Smith Morra at all?
No, actually, I tried to look into it a little bit. In fact, I was trying to look into it, but I want to like I just love C3 so much. In fact, I
You
was
play
trying to
C3
think.
in the Smith Morra.
Right. I was thinking like, is I was actually wanted to know about that. Is how they kind of go together, which I just kind of have to get the book because I want to see how they go together because there
Mm-hmm.
may be some lines that I want to skip and some lines I want to keep. So
Mm.
if there's some lines I want to keep in the C3 Sicilian, if I can avoid some lines that I hate,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I'm gonna go with the more all day if I can avoid some lines. But if I can, I don't know, like if it's gonna change up certain lines that I really like to play, or like for instance, E4 C5. Yeah, they go D4 takes on D4 C3. Well,
Yes.
I've never seen Knight C6 because Knight C6 is actually my favorite one to play against, and every C3 Sicilian, that is my favorite one because
I
they get
People
smashed
have
nine
played that
times out of
against
ten.
me, and
They actually
so
do play Knight C6 in the Mora after C3.
yes, because there's
Really?
it's kind of just like one. It's like as I guess you know this as the Grunfeld. Most people are going to decline it, right? Like
Right.
there's only a
Yeah, you're
very
right.
small percentage are going to do it. So and that's why it's been so great to study your C3 Sicilian because although I play the Smith more almost religiously now, mostly in bullet
Yeah.
games, mind you, but they will decline it and then they will decline it that way. So I get C takes, I'll get the D takes
Oh man,
C3,
I'm about to get this
D5.
book right now. I'm
Take a
about to
look
get
at
this
it.
book.
The Mora, I love it.
I'm about to get it. I already have it. I mean, I don't have it, but I have. I know where to get it. I'm actually about to grab it right now.
I'm trying to
So
get
I'm
Mark
about to
on the
buy it right now.
podcast because yeah, I want to fanboy over him and of course get some ideas from you. I mean, just you two guys, I think talking is like already gonna like come up with some new lines and ideas because yeah, like I said, it just transposes that, or you get into a Marazzi buying, which I don't know if you'd like that particularly, but I don't mind just having some extra space and then winning. You know.
Oh yeah, extra space. Yeah, extra space. I'm down with it. I just bought the book now, so I have it. So I'm gonna be going through his more because I just want to see how it goes with my C3 because I'm an aggressive player. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the fight to him. I'm actually gonna play Dutch then. I'm just gonna have to learn more stuff. Keep reading. It's 1,000 variations in here, boy. Oh my goodness, bro. My Nighter book is like that too. It's 1,000 variations. I've been through like 390, something like that. But and because I study, like I like to go over stuff constantly and make sure you learn it. And like I also have this setting where I go through all the moves and not just the main moves. Like, oh, this is the new move, but I actually go through the beginning moves too because you forget that stuff. Not
I,
as much.
I,
Okay, man, he got a lot of variations in here. This is cool though.
oh
I'm about to
yeah,
check this stuff out today. I'll be
yeah.
checking out some Mora and finishing up some other study. I might stream. I have to see what time. What day is it?
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. If you need to get off to
Slick
get some
Rub.
streaming done,
Oh, Canty
that's
Pog. What's up, Slick Rub?
that's yeah. No, that's definitely up to you, man. Sorry, I'll
Oh no, bro. No, we chilling. Like I'm literally just chilling, bro. I could took this time out anyway, so I'm just chilling.
Man,
Cool, man.
are you gonna be going on any vacations or is it just work, work, work? I
Just honestly work until GM. And honestly, these are vacations to me where I go on these trips, but at the same time, it's always business. Even a year, I won 20,000 in Millionaire Chess in 2015, first one
mm,
ever. So I remember
I
I was
remember
in
that.
Vegas. I was in Vegas, so I it was so much turn up there. There was so many things I could have did fun wise, but in fact, after every round, I would reflect on it. I would say what up to some people. I would usually call my dad, let him know how I did, and then I would go back to my room and study. This is actually I've been doing this for years. In fact, even as a kid, they even some of my like some of the mentors or some of the people over chess programs here, they were like, "Yeah, Jimmy, when you were younger, you would just finish the game and you would go back and study something or analyze." And I'm like, I still do that now. So that's how it is. When they go in Chicago, hey, what's up, y'all? What's good? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be signing some autographs. I'm gonna be taking some pictures. It's gonna be fun, bro. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna say what up, we in here, things like that. What up, does all that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a nice. But as soon as the round's over and I'm done shaking hands and doing that, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I gotta go study. Especially if I have white the first round, then I'm studying nothing but black for the second round, and then it switches every round, so I know exactly what to study. I just don't know what to study because I don't know what I'm playing yet. So I usually hit everything. So I need to have time, which means I need hours to study. That's usually why I go straight back to my room to study. Until I hit GM, this is always the process.
Do you have a set line of tournaments that you're planning to play in for like the next year or?
Not the next year. I usually have to do every other month. So I have my sons have care, so they're good because I don't want to go every single month. And
Mm,
also, I treat chess study and like tournaments like NBA finals in a way training wise. Like I train way more than I would in the the season when the season starts basically than I would in the off season. I still study very hard, but I don't study as much. I will still be studying, but I'm like, okay, let's try this. Let's look at this. I'll take a little bit more time studying, understanding a little bit more. Here, I'm just in a way, it is cramming, but I'm studying very fast. I'm cramming, then I'll come back, hit the information again every day, going nuts. So I have Chicago this month. Now Vegas is next month, but I'm probably gonna take a break on Vegas, or I
mm.
think it's in July. If it's in July, then I'll be at World Open, so that won't work. So I'll be doing Chicago this month, Philadelphia for sure, my World Open in July, and then August, September, I'm not sure yet. I like to hit North American in December. That's in Vegas, so we'll see what's up with the Vegas one in December. But in between that December block, I need to see what I can hit. I don't know if there's an Ohio one. There's some Indiana new ones that are out. So I just don't know where. I'm just gonna kind of search around to
Well,
find something.
so when you're looking for your tournaments, are you looking for norm tournaments particular or just
Only
strong
norm.
tournaments?
Only norm. I only want norm tournaments until I have enough norms. When I get my norms, then it's more just like
Rating.
where can I get points at,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because then you don't want to play it. Not that you don't want to, because you still want to play in norm tournaments, but you want points, which means you need to go places where you can get points to play strong players. But you also don't want to lose points either. Like I mean, you can, and you don't want to focus on points, is what a lot of IMs GMs told me too that already have the title. Like the more that you focus on it, the more pressure you have. So when you like one game away sometimes from having a norm, your pressure's on and you might do something nuts, or like your psychology's off a little bit and you don't even get it when you was half a point away sometimes. So you have to just go in there and play every game with all your might and stuff like that. But I have to prep and look for tournaments all this year, the next year and the year after, and keep working. The bigger chess grows, the more time I have for it. That's why I like it, because the more I can study more, because YouTube, not only is it a nice platform to put educational content out and grow your brand, but it's a passive income source that people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not putting no numbers out there, but I know ways where, you could use certain tools that are actually free to see how much a YouTube channel potentially makes, not how much they actually make, but they potentially make anywhere from this range. And on a low day it'd be this, on a high day it'd be this, yearly they would probably make this. And I'm like, seeing some of the big chess channels, I'm like, that's nuts.
I
That's
want to
life
know.
changing.
I want to know about Agamator, dude. How much is
Oh
that
man, you
guy
know what? I didn't
raking?
even
How much
check.
is he
I didn't even
racking?
check. I didn't even check. I actually just only checked the more recent ones like Hikaru and Levy. But I was like, wow, I didn't even check. But I was like, yo, if that's that's the bar. Like, man, this could really blow up. And I'm like, that would be passive income, meaning like I wouldn't, you
Yeah.
still want to stream, but I wouldn't have to stream. I mean, not that I don't have to stream, but I'm saying that you can stream less. You have more freedom when you have to. They always say like working, if you work for money, you're going to always work for money, always. So until, no matter what it is, no matter if it's the favorite thing you love to do or it's the worst thing you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's, if you're working for it and you're spending, what was the analogy, like spending time for money, right? So you want the time and your money to work for you. So
Mm-hmm.
the YouTube videos you put out can be monetized and you can create an income source through that, which is huge. And now you can focus on other areas and you can put more out and give back to the community even more, because that's not, you're not focused on the money anymore, which is very good to have that passive income source. That helps a lot. And the more that grows, the more that I can play in more tournaments, the more that I have more time to study, the more I can give back, the more content I can make. It's just a win-win situation. So
Well, I'm definitely going to be putting the invitation out to you to come to San Antonio to
oh
come
yeah,
and play in one of our tournaments. Although
yeah,
I know that I need to make it a norm tournament for you then.
yeah, a norm tournament, most likely. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, bro, a norm tournament, I'm there because I need
Okay.
them points. I need the points. I need all the points, and I need 200 points at least, because of course I'm definitely bagging the IM title once it's there. Of course, GM is my ultimate goal, but it's nice to have the reward on the way. So I'm definitely grabbing that, but I need 200 points and 3 norms. So that's all I'm hunting is points and norms, points and norms,
The
points and
hunter's
norms.
out,
So
huh?
Hunter's out, right? I'm just fixing this game. I'm about to study this more tonight, so I'm about to study that. I'm hyped about this more because I was like, I should do it. Then I was like, no, I'm not. And then now
it's
I'm like, now I'm about to try it.
it's so much fun. I mean the it's funny because although I believe if you play this correctly, Black will get an equal game. I mean, I've got so many wins against GMs and IMs and you know all these players, and I'm like, man, they do not know the line, and they
Yeah,
keep
Alapin
playing.
is the same way. Alapin is saying, they're like, oh, Alapin's boring. Why do you play the Alapin? It's boring. And I'm like, bro, if you see my games in Alapin, like, that ain't boring at all, bro. Like, it be tactics left and right. So, that's why, it's the way that you play. In fact, actually, I was looking something when I was reading my Dutch theory. Nicholas Pert from Australia, I think he's Australian, but he is a huge Dutch monster. And what I heard from, or what I saw in one of the articles was like, yeah, he's playing the Dutch from coming from Nicholas Pert, who plays the Dutch and who also plays the French from an aggressive standpoint. And I was like, how do you
Interesting.
do that? And he was like,
G5.
yeah, yeah, all right. But they were saying that he plays French like an aggressive player, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I was trying to look at some French too, but I'm like, bro, this is honestly too boring for me. I just can't do French no more. French, like, I just can't, bro.
Oh,
French was
I appreciate
was
that.
my old
Please,
stuff.
thank you.
Yeah, I used to play French all the
You
time.
used to
That's what
play
I grew up on.
French. Now
But I
I
grew
find
I
that
grew up
very
on the
interesting.
French.
What?
Yeah, this was before I learned. This was before I knew I was a super tactical player. Then I switched from French to E5, just learning some classics. I played some Open Spanish, and then after I got 2200, then I started playing the Sicilian, actually. So I
That
played
seems
French and E5 all the way up until
that
2200.
seems so backwards to me. I would think that while
Yeah,
your strength gets stronger, you'd become more solid. And that's actually was one of the things I was going to mention. Like, I love that you're pushing for this aggressive style. I think people like me or maybe other chess players, we get beat down because we grew up and we want to be Tao, we want to be Kasparov, but we get beat down by these positional players that are just like, oh, thank you for this free pawn. Now let's go to endgame. Just gonna trade
right.
down. I love how you're just doubling down on this idea because, man, I I'm losing the faith.
Oh, yeah, it's aggression. It's aggression, and it's all about, people still out there doing that. And I look for, top level games, for instance, like Ferrugia, Hikaru, and like tacticians that are super strong with this stuff. Wesley Saw wouldn't say he's a tactician. He's very strong with tactics, but he's more of a hybrid, is what I would say. He could
Mm-hmm.
do tactics, he could do in game, he could do it all. Magnus, same way.
Mm-hmm.
Hikaru, I would lean more aggressive tactical. Ferrugia, aggressive tactical, where they can play positions and it'd be some of the sharpest stuff you've ever seen. And that is that's high level tactics there. And I think, if they can do it, I can do it as well. But you have to train that area. You have to work on that. And that comes from analyzing your games with the engine a lot, analyzing your engine games, studying a lot. In fact, I tell my students, I do a 70-30 split, 70% study, 30% play. So I have more time to study and work on things. I'm studying theory, I'm studying middle game, I'm studying end game. So when I do go play, I have better chances of succeeding, and instead of just going back and forth or on a losing streak, So I have greater chances because I studied a lot. And then when I'm done, analyze them, hit the lab again, 70-30 split. Or some days, if I've studied so much, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to only play today. I'll only take a day. And usually that never happens. I'll still end up studying somewhere in there. But I'll play like 2 hours of just play time, getting it in, analyze every game. Okay, cool. Then I'm like, what did I have trouble with? Definitely had some trouble here today. Let me go work on that, and taking tally and really understanding your game. Like basketball terms, like I always use sports, is you got to watch the film and review the film over and over and over and over before you get to the next game. And the person that does the film the most will be the best prepared for that game. Now the game still doesn't, just because you reviewed the film doesn't mean the game is going to go in your way, but you still have to watch it, and you have to know, you got to work on other areas. Practical examples, actually get out there and shoot hoops. So in that sense, get out there and play games. I got to still get out here and play games, still play tactics. I still got to study. It's a grind, 6 to 8 hours a day.
Do you ever stream while you just play some Blitz games? I don't think I've ever
Yep.
seen you. Oh, you do.
Usually I'll stream, not just usually I play my best Blitz games offline. So I'll play Blitz games on the stream sometimes that against in the pool. But usually streaming
people,
usually streaming is entertainment. Streaming is
Okay.
entertainment, and so you want to entertain your viewers and things. So I actually only play them, or I'll have bullet and Blitz tournaments, and I'll do tactics and really analyze games with them. It's literally all about them. Because when you ever, it's your stream, but at the same time, they're there to watch you, but they also want to be interactive with you. The worst streams are the streams where people just not talking to the chat and they just sitting there doing whatever they're doing. Yeah, that's cool. And, even legends, there are a lot of GMs that are very strong to do that. They never look at the chat, but they game very strong. And I'll just sit there and watch the game. That's what I'm here for. It's just watching your game. But, in terms of entertainment, it's not entertaining at all. And that stuff actually puts you to sleep. Some of the greatest players are some of the most boring coaches, right? So
yes,
that's just how it goes. But I'll play some Blitz games too on stream. But a lot of times because the music's going and I'm paying attention to the chat and people give the subs and we hanging out and subs like that, I can't focus as much as I would want to, which is still cool, to get some games in. But you want to really focus, especially when I'm playing Blitz too. I'm really serious because I'm trying to get my ratings up. I'm actually trying to touch 2,800 Blitz on both sides, chess.com, League Chess. Yeah, that's very hard to do, honestly. Highest I've been is 2,650, 2,660, but I'm always consistently 2,550 or 2,600. So anywhere between the range, because sometimes you drop, maybe you playing, GM, IM, right, and you just going back and forth. It's hard. Or you lock in with somebody that's IM or FM or GM that's really strong, 2,700, and you drop some points. So you go back and forth, stuff like that. But that's my goals there for that. So,
man, yeah, I love this insight because that's another thing you've inspired me to do is like I want to Twitch and stream. I want to connect with people and yeah, I guess I have a journey that I want to share with people, and it's not something I thought people would particularly be interested in, but. In San Antonio, people do know me, and they've been jumping on the stream with me now, and it's been a lot of fun to connect with them. And I mean, now you're like national or international. Yeah, you're worldwide now. So that's such a fun thing to do. I mean, what's the most you've had for live people? I think I saw the other day like 500 plus.
I've had was I think it was 4K.
4, oh my gosh, how was that rush?
Oh man, it was nuts. In fact, the biggest it's nuts having 4K people. That was nuts. But the biggest thing that I ever had was I had 11,000. But it was a raid. It was a raid. Hikaru raided me. I put it on YouTube when the moment happened.
Oh, I need to look that up.
He raided me. Yeah, he raided me with 11,000 people. And of course, you always have some fall off. You have some fall off. So I think still like 2K stayed or something like that. I don't remember. But he raided me with so many people, bro. And we have 500. I had to turn. I was like, this is what it is when you get big, like Hikaru level. You actually have to turn off your sounds for alerts because I got 500 followers in 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I had never seen it. I was like, yo, it just kept going off every second. For 30 minutes, you would hear a sound, which whatever my follower sound was. So after that gets annoying, like 500 followers. You listen to that for 30 minutes, bro, you need to turn that off. So I actually keep it silent because that's what happens when you become, you get bigger. People start rating you. Sometimes, I'll get shout out to all of the community out there. We love the community. Sometimes somebody gifts 100 subs,
Oh
and if
my
you gift 100
gosh.
subs, that is literally your thing going off. Your alert 100 times. So yes, you can have the alert itself go off across the screen, but the sound is what's going to annoy people, especially if you're playing music or you're trying to talk around it. So I learned that. I was like, okay, this is what it is when you get it to the big boy level, and you get 500 followers in 30 minutes. Bet I understand, because Hikaru got 1 million Twitch followers. So I'm like, bet that's the goal. That's where the bar is. I'm trying to touch it.
I have to ask you, the Jedi. What is that about? Are you a big Star Wars fan, or is that just something
Oh
that
man,
you're
I used to
playing?
love Star. I
Oh,
still watch
okay.
Star Wars, and I'm kind of, I wish they had more coming out, because I'm not the guy that watches movies over and over. So when I watch it once, I'm kind of like done with it. But I would wish they had more like Jedi stuff out, and like lightsaber battles. I was always big into those.
Uh huh.
Those was always fun, and like they always say use the Force, which is like kind of from your head, and you have to focus. You have to use your brain, decisions you make, and I'm like, yo, this is like chess. And so I was like, yo, this is fire, bro. Use the Force. Right. So I just picked it up, and that's what we've been doing since 2018,
I love
using
it.
that. But now actually I kind of stray away from it. I only use the emote. I don't have it behind me anymore because of branding. And actually you can get in trouble later on. So
Oh.
that's why I don't sell any merch with it. I don't sell any of that. So I can just go buy the Jedi, or I can call myself that, or like have an emote, but there's no way I can sell any merchandise or do I'm not going to do that anymore, because that could be copyright infringement
I
stuff
hope you
for
kids
later.
are listening out there.
Yeah, in fact,
Kids.
actually, my manager told me, and I was like, "Dang, bro, you right." So I fixed that up ASAP.
Oh
ASAP.
my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get some controversial stuff in. Not like crazy controversial. What did you think of the last three Star Wars movies?
I love them
Did
actually.
you
I'm
really?
because I'm not. In fact, I actually didn't watch the Rogue One. If we talk about that one, I don't watch anything that doesn't have. I think the Rogue had the lightsaber scene with Darth Vader,
That one I
but I
love.
am.
That's a great one.
Yeah, but that was like one of the only scenes, and I'm a lightsaber fan. So me and I, if there's no lightsaber action like how Rise of Skywalker or whatever it was, whatever the name was, I forgot the name of it, but the one that the last one. But we when like
The,
if there's no battles like that, I'm not into. In fact, the best one is Attack of the Clones, because
I love
they
Attack
had
of
the
the
most
Clones.
they had the most lightsaber action. Like I'm
Darth
not
Maul,
trying to do with
dude.
that. Oh yeah, bro, that was the best at lightsaber action ever. So that is the only kind of Star Wars I'm watching. If it's not that, I'm not watching it. So I still love them because I love the Jedi battles, and that's why I don't even watch. They like, yo, you watching
Mandalorian.
what's the one, Mandalorian, right? So I'm
You're
like,
not watching
yo,
that.
I wasn't
Oh
because
man,
it's more about
you're
Mandalorian
you're
stuff.
breaking my
It's
Star
not.
Wars heart over here, man.
Yeah, if it was more like, yo, the Jedi, and I'm like, or the fight of the Jedi, or fight of this, or where it was focused on more Jedi based and
Hmm.
fighting, oh, I'll be watching it. I would be up to date today. But there's like nothing on. In fact, I'm to the point where I actually watch fan made films on YouTube that are made.
Oh,
um
interesting.
oh, those are fire, bro. They be realistic too, and they got
Hmm.
the effects. I'm like, yo, these are little movies, because people are good with editing and stuff. So these are real little movies that look legit. Like they be like 17 minutes long or 20 minutes, and they be having a series of people, real actors, playing like with the special effects and everything. But it's very beautiful. So that's what I watch. I'll usually watch that and get more entertainment out of that than I would with something else, because you know. So yeah, man, I like using the Force and like stuff like that. I'm not into like all other stuff. I could watch another show for that. So
The last three official episodes I was not the biggest fan of. That's all I will say about that. I won't
it's
trash them
okay.
too much, but because I do
Yeah.
love Star Wars, but they're actually coming out with the Obi-Wan one, so I assume there'll be some Star Wars effects for you on that one as far as the
Oh, I'm definitely watching
lightsabers.
it.
Okay, cool, cool.
Definitely watching it. Yeah, the big movie ones I usually watch, besides the Rogue One, because I was like, and I watched the art. I watched the trailer like a few times, and I'm like, bro, this is not lightsaber. I know they got the Vader scene in there, but that's the only scene he probably got. And I'm like, no, this ain't Jedi based or Jedi focused. I'm good. Y'all can have that one. So
Oh, here's another fun question: Nepo, Magnus, who's gonna win? What do you think, man?
Magnus got it. In fact, I was listening to Kasparov today. He had a great point. He said 60-40 Magnus. And it was like, wow,
60-40.
60-40.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
And it was like,
close.
man, Right. And it was like, yeah, man, but it was like, yeah, but it's and that's actually what they were saying too. And Kasparov was like, yeah, but it's still like he's gonna like basically saying like, yeah, but that's kind of how it is, but he's gonna win, basically. To say it's like that's kind of how he was saying it. Like, yeah, 60-40. I mean, however you want to put it, like whatever, it's gonna be a closer match, but Magnus is still gonna pull it out, basically, is what he was saying. There was no doubt in his mind that Magnus was gonna win.
And
But he said
you feel the
64. And I
same
think the
though.
same.
Okay,
I
okay.
think the same. I think no doubt about my Magnus is going to win, but I do think it might be close. But I also think that Magnus is going to show a test of strength and also a test of flexibility because, Jan, I'm sure, have seen everything and he's preparing, but also I'm sure Magnus is preparing some new things, new ideas.
It's
And
exciting,
having
man.
all that money, that they got, you can pay $20,000-$30,000 for a computer to actually compute certain things and certain new lines and things like that,
Oh wow.
to work for you. And he got seconds and his team to do all that too. So he gonna be set. I know he gonna come up with something crazy. I remember in the World Championship 2018, actually, my buddy brought over my dad's friend. Actually, my dad's friend Norm. I had to hook up his computer the other day, actually, speaking of him, and he brought me all his chess lives because he was like, I don't rate him.
Oh, that's
So I'm like, oh,
cool.
bet. And I mean, I already get the magazine every month, but I'm like, oh, these some old ones. Like, I ain't never seen this one. And actually, there was I wasn't getting them in 2018, so I got those two. He sent me, well, actually, I have right here the Magnus Carlsen one. So I was like, oh, let me grab this one, Magnus and Fabi 2018 Chess Life one. But yeah. I think Magnus is gonna pick that up. Magnus is gonna take that dub there. So, but I remember he played in that 2018 one. He played when the Petrov was played. He played it was E4 E5 knight f3 knight f6 knight takes e5 d6 and instead of knight f3 knight d3 and actually everybody went crazy. I remember that moment because everybody was like, oh my goodness, no, like he played knight d3 like we've never seen this world championship. But it was also showing that he's prepped. Like I believe that he's gonna do exactly the same thing, just and you're gonna see some wild move that like, bro, what is that? Like I ain't never seen that before, which is gonna throw Jan off and he's gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out all by himself. In fact, I think that's where Magnus beats him the most, is these times where he has to figure it out on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets those kind of positions like we've seen in these chess tour tournaments Magnus be having. When he played Jan a few times, he was taking him out of the waters of stuff he's familiar with, which is a good idea. That's why I'm gonna be checking out this Mora, and then my Dutch and stuff like that. Najdorf is played by everybody, but at the same time, I'm liking it. I'm having some good results with it. I think Najdorf's pretty strong, and keep working on it.
Nydorf is one of those beasts that I just can't even. I've just given up on him, man. I was like, I knew a guy was gonna play Nydorf against me. I played D4. I didn't even play D4. I was just like, I'm not gonna go into that. How do you even start preparing to play Nydorf? I mean,
You literally have to jump in. Like you have to jump in
oh
because
my
I
god.
remember preparation. Preparation is real, but and preparation is key. But a lot of times with prep, there's so much that you just have to jump in. You have to pick one and you
Mm.
have to jump in. And that's what I did. I was like, all right, I'm just about to jump in, and so I just jumped in. Now to this date, like bro, I'm fire with the Nightdorf. I even know like, especially in the English attack, which is probably my favorite thing to face because it's played so much
Uh
that I
huh.
studied it so much that literally when I'm studying it, it looks like I'm playing a bullet game, but I'm actually studying it, literally studying, and it's like nuts. But I show people this, they're like, bro, that's nuts. Like how fast you're going through that. And I'm like, yo, it's reps. It's literally reps. I know more about the Nightorf right now and in the last 3 months than some IMs have ever known Nightorf in entire life because Nishigiri got this course. Of course, you just got to run through it. They got these things called lifetime repertoires on Chessable, and I always tell people about these lifetime repertoires. Number one, if you're not a professional player and you ain't studying, it's going to take you a lifetime to get through this book. And then number two, it's also a lifetime repertoire because it's exactly that. It's built to test this, for a lifetime you can use this. And it's the lines are depth, 25. So like you got to know all 25 moves and then this and then that and extraness. And then there's like 80 variations in one
Mm-hmm.
chapter, 60 in this one, 40 in this chapter, 35 in this chapter that adds up to where, let me see, Night of Sicilian, 1,057 variations total, all of them having 20 moves plus, and I'm in 390 variations right now. So a lot of chess left still, but I know, man, I'm nuts. But I'm nuts with this Night. I ain't even gonna lie, I'm nuts. I'm like, yo, this is fire, bro. I ain't never had
Oh
this
my
much
god.
fun in a while.
Well,
Nuts with it.
see, this is tearing me apart. If we ever play again and I play E4, you go C5. I can't go C3 against you.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't
you
go
know what?
D4 against
In
you.
fact though, nah. C3. In fact, that's why one thing I'm like, I love the Sicilian, but I hate playing against my own
Yeah.
creation. I hate playing against it actually, and actually Magnus. That's why I like the Sicilian too. C3 Sicilian. In fact, Magnus has a tweet, which I'm sure he was playing, but at the same time, maybe he wasn't. It was like, hey, secret tip, play the Alapin against me. I hate it, and it was a tweet.
I
It's a
saw
Twitter.
that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
Magnus actually has a tweet out, and it's still out. Like he didn't delete it. It's a tweet. So I'm like, ooh, that's good. So I always like to use that. But I hate playing against it. So sometimes I'll be trying to find weird, like very strange ways to play against the Alapin, which I haven't found one yet. I haven't found one yet. E4, C5, maybe like A6. E4, C5, C3, like A6. Just something strange.
Some kind of
Literally,
O'Kelly variation.
I mean, some type of O'Kelly, bro. Because the Alapin, like, I know everything from the white side. So playing it as black, like, I don't like the Knight of Six that Gary recommends. The G6 versions was accelerated. I can also run into my Gambit line, which I know how to face. But still, even then, it's still, I've actually lost some games, even though I know how to face it. So I was like, yo, I just need, like, either don't play the Sicilian because you got C3, or I have to play something weird, bro. I literally have to play something weird against it. And I haven't found anything weird enough. In fact, I actually was like, you know what? That's why I have the Gary French course. I might actually go French. And after E4, C5, and E4, C5, C3, E6. And then D4 takes D5.
Okay.
Right. And then I can play a French now. But now I'll be booked up on the Wesley, on the, not Wesley, on the initiatory French. But that takes me, shoot, I was just looking at that today. Oh, that's not that bad. Okay, man. I've been studying so hard that I'll see 525 variations and I'm happy. I'm like, oh, yo, that. Honestly, I'm hyped. Like, I did not know it was this low. Man. 525, I can do that. I can do 525. I ain't tripping about that. So that might be the next move, is going to that French and study the 525 variations there. So I can feel better, because I hate the Alapin. I'm not gonna lie. I hate playing against my own creation. But I was like, this is why I love it. I hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. Because I love playing against it, but I hate playing against it. I love playing it, but I hate playing against it. So until then, I'm actually going to play my G6 until literally I have to study this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to play the French route, because this French is so sharp. So sharp. But you also got to know which French are they going to play if we reach this from the Alapin. So, and actually that would only be, hold on, E4, C5, C3, E6, D4, and just take and play D5. But I could also just play D5, right? E4, C5, C3, E6, D4, D5. Yeah, that don't seem. Man, it's so many wrong. Like, there's so many weird things that happen right there.
E takes
that, like,
D5. E takes D5.
Correct. E takes D5. Yeah, D takes C5, and I got the ISO. So, and I like playing with ISOs, but I might have to just take on D4 and then play D5. And I have to see if Gary, which is, I have to see if Gary has what he has in there about that. What he has in it. So that will cut down my study time, because then I won't be facing certain variations, because we've already reached a concession in a way. C takes D4, C takes D4, D5. So he plays E5, it's more of an advance, so I'd have to pay attention to that. And if he takes on D5, then it's an exchange.
Mm-hmm.
But without the E and C pawns, which is strange. That's like strange. I don't know what that is, which I don't even know if he got that. But again, it's study that I have to do against this stupid Alapin that, like, I hate, but I love, bro. I love it. Like, I love the C3 Sicilian, but I hate facing it, man. It's really difficult. And that's a good and bad thing. That's why I'm like, shoot, I might have to switch up and play, I ain't trying to play no modern. I tried it, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. It's too counter punchy. And then E5, not going back to E5. Scandinavian is ridiculous. And, like, it really is. Scandi. I'm not Team Scandi, bro. So I'm like, I don't know, like, French, like, what the heck do I play, right? But then, French is weird too. So I don't know, man. It's very difficult playing it. Finding, D4. I think it's difficult always when you have to switch and try to find switches, because I honestly don't. I want to play this Night Orc, but that Alapin is one of the only things deterring me from playing. And I have to, like I said before, you have to lean into things you're weak at, and Alapin is one of my weak points, actually. Alapin, and my greatest strength is Alapin. Is one of my greatest weaknesses, right?
But I
so at the same time,
it's perfect for you, because, I mean, I'll say you're chess famous, and you're becoming famous just all around, right? Everybody knows that you play the C3 Sicilian. Yeah. It's just like, I mean, even me, I was just like, I'm not going to play C3 against this guy. Like, this guy has a book out This guy studies it, and
That's
the more you
true,
put it,
actually.
that's just like
That's true.
psychologically, right? Like
Psychologically, you're actually correct. That's a psychological win because
I
I know
wasn't.
everything
If you
about
didn't
it.
tell me that, then I would have. Now I'll play C3
Nah.
against you.
Oh yeah, you can. You can play C3. You can definitely play C3, and I just literally play a mixture of anything. Sometimes I try to D5 one. Sometimes I'll do knight F6. Sometimes I go back
Hmm.
to my roots with G6. But I'm like, I don't have a clear cut one yet, and I think I've never tried. In fact, the one that I've had the most trouble with is the E6 line.
Mm.
Is the E6 one because it's a sort of a French-like structure, and then it gets French-like, and I'm like, this is not a French though, and it gets weird, and I was like, okay, there's different ways where I can either try to play an advance, which favors black, or I can do an exchange variation, but I have like light square bishop out. In fact, yeah, I think that is probably one of the hardest ways to play is the E6 line, which I still be trying to play. Strange with E4, C5, C3, E6, D4, D5, and you got the choice to either take on D5 or play E5. And usually, you can take on D5 to get more play that way, and try to get something to work. But objectively, it just becomes an equal game. It's just an
Hmm.
equal game when you play that one there, and I realized that over a while, over time. In fact, one of my most recent C3 Sicilian losses was to a GM that played the E6 line. Now, of course, I know the E6
Mm.
lines. I was just trying to I was trying to push because I'm trying to beat this GM, but
Hmm.
and he just in gamed or something and ended up winning the game. That's what happens. But it was it was a French like structure, and those are always I found to be. In fact, that probably is the way to go. And that was my last resort. Is like I've tried the G6 one. I've had a lot of good success with it, except I mean, there's certain lines that are just kind of annoying. You don't want to face those. The Knight F6 one that Gary recommends is just like I'd be tearing up Knight F6 myself. So like I don't even like the Knight F6 ones.
I'm.
Then D5 rarely ever have trouble there either. So me playing the stuff that I play face is like this stuff's not a problem to me. And nobody ever knows the gambit line. That's why I was always playing the G6 one. Only a few people. I can count on one hand how many people have played my gambit line on me. So and
There's
I
this
know
one
it's no
guy that I
refute to
play
it. But
bullet with that plays it against me religiously, and I'm so mad every time because I keep doing it because I'm like I gotta figure out the line, so I keep looking it up, and it seems like I'm always one move away every
yeah,
time I do it.
that one way. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that E6 version. So I'm gonna have to spend some time studying French, which is kind of annoying. In fact, it might have to just be French advanced. I may not have to study all the Frenches, just the ones that are important, like the E5, C5. Yeah, this one, E5, C5, and EX D5. I need to study these two to pay attention to what E4, E6. Is there alternatives for white move two? Is there a C3 in here? I wonder. E4, E6, B3, 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 Queen E2, F4, Knight C3, D3. Of course, they don't cover C3 because nobody does that.
Yeah,
Nobody
that
plays
doesn't
E4,
sound like
E6,
something.
C3. Yeah, he don't even cover it. It's not even there. He has Knight C3 and B3, but no C3. So I'm gonna study probably this advanced variation just to see what they got in there because I will be facing that and probably. But again, that's a weird one. What is that again? E4, C5, C3, E6, D4,
D5.
C takes
Oh,
D5. Yeah, he could just take on D5. I don't know what opening. That's super symmetrical. It's just two D pawns in the center of the board. I mean, that's like a draw. So like, I mean, it's not a draw, but that's them type of positions I try to avoid because it's very boring. I'm not a boring player, so any boring positions bore me. But it is yeah, that's gonna be a very, very. Let me see. Let me just make sure. So where is the C pawn? It's still there, right? It takes bishop f4. What do we do with the knight? C knight. This is how I'm always into this every day, bro. This is my life.
no,
E4,
no,
E6,
it's okay.
E5.
Well, I think I'll
Bishop
probably let you
D3,
go. That seems, it sounds like
E5.
you're getting ready to do some studying.
Oh, you do. You can play it, but your C pawn. So I'm supposed to play E4, E6, D4, D5. If you take, okay, so that's gonna be, bro. This is hard. Like you have to. I'm trying to get the transposition right. E4, C5, C3, E6, D4. Then you can play D5. Now you can because you mentioned E takes D5, then take on C5. But that is a line actually that I'm finding here right now that this is okay apparently. So I'm about to figure out why this is okay and what's the plans and ideas to it. Because if that's the case, then I have something to play against the C3 Sicilian now, and something in a way of
That's
the
typically what
E6
I do.
fashions. Yeah, and actually, it's looking like this is a plan right now.
Oh, thank you.
It's looking like this is a plan. So I'm gonna check this out. I'm actually gonna check this chapter out because I'm tired of just like having difficulty against my main weapon. Against Sicilian, which I know I'm like it's bittersweet. I love it and I hate it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you'll probably have to do a book one day how to kill the C3 Sicilian.
Right. I don't think there is no way. There is no way. I figured that out. There is no way to kill it. But you have to how to fight back against the C3
How to fight
Sicilian
back?
because
There you go.
that's all it's gonna be, how to fight back and how to not give up to it.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you get to doing some work. But I do have one more question for you. I like to end with this question all the time. Can I get one of your favorite chess books, and then one favorite book that you just love and maybe you'd recommend to anybody?
Favorite chess book all time is Forcing Chess Moves by Charles Hurtan. That is my favorite all time tactics book. I've been
Oh,
using that one for the last 8 years, and I still get puzzles wrong in it. And it also tells you why, how your brain thinks, and why you aren't seeing the puzzles that you should be, and the tactics you should be looking for before anything else. So that one is number one. And then another book that I just really like will be
yeah.
probably Grandmaster Preparation by Jacob Argard. That whole series of Grandmaster Preparation is fire. But that one in particular, Grandmaster
A
Preparation
non-chess
Positional
book.
Play.
A non-chess book.
Oh, non-chess book, non-chess book. I just finished reading actually where I read. Shout out to Kostia Kavutsky from Chess Dojo, an international master, very strong, cool friend of mine. He put me onto this book, Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. It's a
Mm.
great book, and it's actually just telling you on how to creating good habits and
Mm-hmm.
breaking bad habits and things like that. So I took notes on that book. That was a pretty good book, Atomic Habits.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And also, Think and Grow Rich too is a classic. Just to understand, the trait between a lot of successful people, and you can apply that to chess. So, Think and Grow Rich, I think is good, but definitely Atomic Habits is one to understand, habits and on like a scientific scale and things like that.
Have you? But I just want to ask you real quick. Have you read was it Rich Dad Poor Dad and How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I haven't. I've read a little bit of How to Win Friends and Influence People. Actually, only barely like a few chapters. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, I've read some of that as well, but I am familiar with the cash flow quadrant. So and a lot of his work, Robert Kiyosaki got some great work. In fact, when I was doing some other sales aspects, he was in this movie that we watched with Eric War, and he was just talking about
Oh wow.
being an entrepreneur and stuff like that. It was huge, and I was like, "Yo, that's pretty big." But I heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know the cash flow quadrant. In fact, they got a game out too as well, a board game that
Yes.
you can play. So, but I never read it. But I know it's a huge book. I think it's fire, and I think people should read it to be, in a way, as a wake up call and understand opportunities and what is available to you.
Yeah, I assumed I assumed you either read them or knew about them. Um,
Oh yeah,
those were a few of my favorites. That's why I was curious as an entrepreneur to another. That's one thing
yeah,
I've always liked to talk about is just, I mean, that's one thing I love asking. All these all these successful people, famous people I get to talk to, is just like, what are you reading? What can I do to get to the next level? Because you're obviously doing something right, and I'm here to learn.
that's right, man. It's all about learning. Podcast is a lot of learning. In fact, that's exactly what people should do. Listen to podcasts and implement the information. That's it. You just implement all the different information. I always tell people, look, you could be a 500 rated player, but I still look as I'm always a student, and the greatest student always is the best student. So even from a 500 players game, maybe I might be sparked. For instance, today I was working with a student today. He's like 800, but he
Mm.
was looking at a French line, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go look at that French line again. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
wipe all the progress from this book that I had so I could go check it again. And I was like, oh yeah, that was this and that. And just for me working with my student today, I knew I had to go back through this book to find certain things in there to get that answer, that question answered from me. So you can always learn, and you always have to be the student. You don't know everything. That's why Magnus is always continuously growing too. Magnus always works on his game. That's what Gary said. Gary said, "Yo, Magnus is, he gonna be on top for a long time. He a mixture of a lot of world champions." And he was naming them off, but he was saying, but when he got to Botvinnik, he was like, "Yo, he has Botvinnik's like self-analysis
Mm.
and look to get better, and analyzing your own games and learning from yourself." And I was like, "Dang, that's crazy." So
All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This really meant a lot, and I'm very happy that I got to have you on the podcast, man.
Hey man, glad to be on it, bro. If you need anything else, let me know, man. Glad to be a part of it. Let me know when if you put it anywhere else or any other platform, stuff like that too. I'd like to see that. So yeah,
Oh,
bro, this is awesome. Good, keep the stream up, bro. Thanks for having me, man. If you need anything else, yeah, just reach
I'm
out,
gonna
bro. I'm
try
down.
my best to get something together because I would love you to come and visit my chess club. Are
Okay.
you interested in doing lectures or simuls or anything like that?
Yeah, I do both. I do a lot for Charlotte, actually.
Oh, do
Not
you?
simuls yet, but I do classes for Charlotte. I also work with Grandmaster Gory, or I call him Grandmaster Gory because that's his name, and now he's gonna be a Grandmaster too. So it's crazy how you put your goals in front of you. I'm already calling him Grandmaster Gory, but he's not IM yet. He has 6 IM norms, and
Oh, wow.
he's like 15 points away from IM now. But yes, he I work with him online, virtually with kids. I've worked with Charlotte. I've done a bunch of classes. In fact, I got to hit Peter up. Peter said he's gonna hit me up. There's some classes coming up. So we do online stuff all the time, bro. So yeah, I'm down. Definitely. Just let me know date and times and what's the lectures or what we're doing. I already have preset lectures for certain levels. I've created lead chess studies, tons of them for end games, middle games, openings, tactics. I have everything.
I
So
see you. I'm following you on Lee Chess, and man, you are always making studies.
oh yeah,
Always
I
making
make
studies.
yeah.
Always.
Always, bro. I'm always in there. I'm either making studies for myself or my students, or I'm working on something. And now I have a secret account that I use now
Oh
just to
man.
play on. You know, because if you notice on my GM Canty account, I probably got one game in the last 2 3 days, and I didn't like, where's Canty at playing? And that's because I'm on. In fact, I told my Discord like, hey, look, I got the secret account, so you ain't gonna see me so much on my other one because I'm over here training just to see and playing new stuff and getting the kinks out, basically. So
No, I understand that, man. All right,
yeah.
well, thank you again so much. I'm gonna